Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome to today's video. For those of you who are new, this is probably your first time coming across my channel, watching one of my videos, which means you're probably not yet subscribed. Welcome, my name is Tyler with an O, and for those of you who are already my people, already subscribed and are just returning for another video, welcome on back. Ciao, we gonna give you a little story time tease. You know, I be sitting on a lot of stories because I wasn't necessarily a story time type of channel, and if anything, it's doing people some good to, you know, learn about or hear about some life experiences. I'm pouring me a little beverage. But yeah, so I'm just gonna, you saw the title, girl. We is gonna talk about my sugar daddy. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm talking about this. Picture it. Sicily. I'm just kidding. If you get the reference, you get the reference. First of all, I gotta give him a name because I don't want to say like his name, so I'm gonna give him a name. We're gonna call him Ricardo. And Ricardo is, he is Panamanian. Oh, is that giving away too much tea? Because what if somebody out here know exactly who I'm talking about? You know what? I could edit it out, but I'm not. I met him when I know I was under 21. And I know that because of the details of the story. But anyways, I met him when I was young. I was young and tender at the age of 21, or under 21. So I had to be 19, I believe, nope, 18. Maybe I was 18 at the time when I met this person. And I met them online, and I didn't, first of all, so let me say that, I didn't go looking for this situation at all. I was not looking for a sugar daddy. I knew what they were, and I wouldn't even necessarily, like, he never called himself that. I never called him that. That was never our situation. So let me just get into the story, girl. I met him on, like, a dating app, you know, like a dating website or whatever. He messaged me, you know, just because of his age and everything. And, you know, I'm not trying to be ageist or anything like that. But at the age of 18, 19, however old I was, I just was not interested in older men. That just wasn't my thing. He was actually an attractive guy, though. Like, if I wanted to put an age on him, I would say like he was probably upper 40s at the time, but he gave very much like 35 in the face, you know, like he was very attractive. In my mind, I was just like, you know, being nice. I was being social. At that time, I wasn't really one to, like, you know, I didn't want to diss nobody, and I also didn't want to make him feel bad because of his age or anything like that, or, you know, so I was just like talking to him, and we actually just had some really good conversation. At this time, he didn't live in the same state as me, but the reason that he saw me was because he would frequent where I'm from, which is Las Vegas. He frequented my hometown, so he happened to be in town at the time, whatever. In fact, I think that day he was actually leaving to go back to where he lived, and so he was messaging me, and it was very much like we were just like, you know, chatting it up, talking about whatever. He was saying, like, you know, he was out here on business, and we were talking about like what he did for work. So we were like messaging that day, and then he messaged me later, like at night, saying like, you know, I made it home, like his flight just landed. So I just want to stress, like, initially, like, my point wasn't to get money from this man. I wasn't expecting him to be a sugar daddy or anything like that. We were just talking, and I was just giving him the time of day because I was lonely, I guess. I don't know. And he was kind of attractive, so I was just like, okay. You know, I never talked to somebody this old, but I mean, okay. This is where I started to learn that this man has some money. You know, like, he told me what he was here for work to do, but I didn't necessarily know his role and know exactly what he did and how much it paid. Sweetheart. So, yeah, told me that he got home or whatever, and then he was saying that his assistant was picking him up from the airport, and he was saying like how he was excited to see his car because he just got his car like painted or whatever. And I was just like, oh, like, you know, what color? And he was saying like it was some special red or whatever. And then I was like, what kind of car is it? And girl, it was like a car that was not in my tax bracket. Okay, it was giving very much exotic sports car, and I was like, Oh, okay. But then part of me was just like, okay, he flexing. Like, girl, you think I'm impressed by that? Whatever. But then he sent me a picture of the car. He sent me a picture like, oh, rides here, you know, and it was the car. And I was like, this is your car? Like, this is your car? And he was like, yeah, one of them. And I was like, oh, okay, like, cute, you know. And at the time and now, because I still do this, I be trying to, like, you know, be nonchalant, act like I'm not impressed by things like that, which I mean, I'm not really, but I like cars, so like I kind of am. So I was just like, oh, okay, you know, cute for you, whatever. And he was like, what kind of car do you have? And I was just like, you know, at the time, I had my cute little humble, what was I driving at the time? I think I had my little 96 Honda Accord, left her down, her name was Sasha. And so I told him, you know, I was kind of embarrassed. I was just like, you know, just a little 96 Honda Accord. He was like, we got to get you, you know, one of these. And I was just like, yeah, okay, you know, whatever. So anyways, we were just talking, whatever. And then like we just started to get to know each other. He got I gave him my number, and immediately he like called me. And this is something, I mean, I'm not gonna try to categorize, but I feel like this is very much like when you're dealing with like older men or older people in general when it comes to dating. They not much for like the texting and the messaging. Like they like to talk on the phone. And this is relevant, but they like to talk on the phone. So he like immediately called me, and I was like, damn it, like he called me, whatever. So once we got on the phone, child, when I tell you his accent, I'm telling, cause you know he foreign, okay? He had that accent. And so I was just like, oh, this accent, his voice was so like, he was very like suavemente, like he talked like this, and he had such a beautiful accent, and I was just like, oh, okay, you got me there, okay. So like, you know, we were talking on the phone, and like he was like asking me, because I was in school, so he's asking me like, you know, what I was going to school for and everything, and we talked about that. And then that's when he got a little deeper into his career and told me, you know, what he does in terms of like finance, and how he runs all these things, and he manages this and that or whatever, and all these big accounts and everything. And I was like, wow, like, you know, I'm taking accounting 102 in college, meanwhile you're like you have a whole firm type shit. Like I was like, wow. But again, in no way was I ever at this time like, oh, give me something. Like I want him to give me something, you know. Ooh, this will tell what time it was. This was, I think, the time of the Mrs. Carter World Tour. Me and my friends had just bought tickets to go to the one in Las Vegas. And he was saying like, oh yeah, I got sent some free tickets for that, like in New York, but like I'm not gonna go or whatever. And he was like basically saying like, you and your friends, like I'll pay for you guys to go. Like you and your friends should go for your birthday and have a good time. Like why settle for the one in Las Vegas? Go to New York. And I was just like, huh? Like I was like, you pay, like. But my thing was like, I didn't want my friends to know like I was talking to this man or anything, so I didn't take him up on that. Like I wasn't like telling my friends like, oh yeah, my old boyfriend that I'm talking to is gonna pay for us. Like I was just like, oh, like, you know, you're too kind. Like yeah, okay, whatever. Anyway, so let's get to the interesting part, okay, the meat and potatoes of the story. That was just kind of the things that led up to me knowing like, okay, this man has money and he wants to spend money on me. So we were talking or whatever, you know, for a while, and he was talking about like, you know, he wanted me to come out and visit and all this other stuff, and because where he lived was a state that I told him like I've never been to, and I would be interested in going one day, like I do want to go. And he was like, yeah, like you should come and whatever, and you'd love my house and all this other stuff, and I'll like, you can drive my car, like I'll let you drive the car and all this other stuff. And I was just like, oh, okay, this is cute or whatever. But anyway, so he was coming back to Las Vegas because he's a high roller in like the casinos here, so he comes back frequently, and they comp him rooms, they comp him like he gets big comps. And then later when I started working in casinos, I'm not gonna get into that, but anyways, I'll just say like I started to understand what all that meant in terms of his status, okay? And then he was like, you know, I want to take you out like to a fancy dinner, whatever. And so this is now the story of like my first time actually meeting the man, because up until then I haven't met him. He was like, you know, I want to take you out, and you know, we can go, oh, I have free shows to the Barry Manilow show. I did not know who Barry Manilow was because that is not in my generation, okay? But he loved Barry Manilow. He's like, I really want to go, da da da. Like, I want you to go with me. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm down to go, like whatever. And so he sent me this website, and it was it's like Robert something, but they make like very expensive designer shirts. Well, clothes, I guess, but their specialty is like shirts, like these very ornate silk designer shirts that are like hundreds of dollars, you know. And he sent me the site. He was like, well, pick out something, like pick out a shirt that you want, like to wear for the shirt, for the thing, and like pick me out one too. And I was just like, no, like I was like, do you know how much these are? Like, these are expensive. Like, I mean, first of all, I have clothes. I don't need you to buy me clothes. But second of all, like, if you go buy me some, girl, why it gotta be this expensive? Like, this is expensive. And he was just like, it's not. Like, pick out something to wear. Like, I'm not worried about it. And I was like, okay. And then I was just like, oh, so like you must like to shop or whatever. He's like, honestly, I hate to shop. He's like, when I come there, honestly, like, if you like to shop, we can go shopping. I'll just sit down on a bench somewhere and give you my credit card, and you can just go buy us both some clothes. And I was just like, what is happening? Like, I was still like mind blown, because again, like, this wasn't an arrangement. This wasn't a sugar, like, you know, it was just this man had money and he didn't care to spend it on me or let me spend his money. I was like, this is crazy. But up until now, it's just all like things that he said he wanted to do, but he didn't really like put any money where his mouth was yet. So I basically looked on the website. I was like, I didn't really see anything that I liked particularly. It was very much like an older person's taste and style of clothing, and it was just nothing for me. And you know, I'm very slim, and they was only making regular fit, and if I'm gonna do a button up, then it has to be slim fit because I need it to be snatched. But he stayed at a very nice hotel in a very nice suite here on the Strip. So this is my first time meeting him. I got dolled up, girl. I didn't put on any makeup or anything like that. I was just like looking very fresh, and cause that's his thing. Like, he was like, oh, like, you're so handsome, and I like my, basically he was saying like he didn't really like feminine guys like that, which now future me, this was the night for the Barry Manilow concert or whatever. So it was just like me and him, we went out to like the show. So I met him, and he just thought I was like, girl, I was everything. I was his dream come true that night, sweetie. And it was just so awkward because, mind you, I'm under 21. He's staying out on the Strip, like in a hotel, casino, whatever. And he's a big gambler, you know. He has a lot of money. That's how he makes a lot of money, and that's why they keep inviting him and fluting him out to the Strip, you know, so he can spend more money. So anyways, he was like, you know, before we go to the show, let's just, I have to like visit my casino host and all this other stuff to pick up like my Barry Manilow tickets or whatever. So I'm just like, okay. So like, you know, we're just walking, and it just looked so bad. Not bad, I'm not gonna say bad, let me take that back. But it just was so awkward to me, because it's like, I didn't know in the casino world that it was very common for older men to have younger companions accompany them out on the Strip. So we were walking through the casino and everything, and like we went to like this casino host. It was like a VIP lounge and everything, and they were offering us little beverages and snacks and everything, like real fancy. Like, I was like, oh, okay. And so everybody was like, you know, I was with him, and they knew him. So they're like, oh, Ricardo, like, you're back, and, you know, nice to see you again, and all this other stuff. And he was like, yeah, da 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 da, whatever, whoop-de-woo. And then they're like, you know, I'm just over his shoulder, like, you know, just happy to be here type shit. And they're like, oh, you know, who is this? Whatever. And he's like, oh, this is Tyler, whatever. And they're like, oh, is this your nephew? Is this your son? Is this your, and it's just like, no. And then like when he would say no, everybody was just like, okay. And so it was like awkward to me, because I was like, oh my god, they probably think like I'm a prostitute. Like they probably think like he just picked me up on the Strip somewhere and we about to go back to the room or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was just really awkward. And then like he would go and gamble. And mind you, you're not allowed to be on the casino floor under 21. And I was under 21, and I looked very much under 16. Like, I looked very young. I mean, I still look very young, darling. But I'm just saying, like, when I was under 21, 18, 19, honey, I was giving very much 16, 15 in the face. So we were on the casino floor while he was like gambling and stuff, but like nobody is gonna come and approach and say anything to me because he's such a high roller that they're like, we don't want no smoke. Like, we don't want him to leave the casino floor and stop spending money. So I was just, you know, over his shoulder while he was gambling or whatever. And so he would like play some of the, I forgot what, oh, he would play high limit slots. Now, for those of you who ain't from Vegas or y'all don't got casinos or whatever, like, you know, there's like penny slots where you can put in like a penny at a time, 5 cents at a time, a quarter at a time, honey. No, high limit slots were in this particular casino. It was a room with slot machines that were high limit slots. Minimum bet per pool, per ding 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 per turn, $10,000 minimum per pool. Do you hear me, bitch? Girl, so I was in there looking like I didn't belong. Like, I was just happy to be here, bro. I was just happy to be here. What you're playing with costs more than my college tuition, and you're playing with it. You're playing a game, betting my future on this slot machine. What the bitch? Girl, girl, I'm getting worked up because a fresh and frugal Tyler over here. Listen, we don't play those games, honey. We go to the Barry Manilow concert, and it was all older people in this concert. Like, when I tell you only old people like Barry Manilow, it was very much that. I didn't know none of the music, but he was getting his life, and I was just happy, like, you know, he was having fun and I was there to accompany him. But he knew, like, I didn't know the music or anything either, but, you know, whatever. So then we go up to his room or whatever. Okay, let me take a sip. He didn't even go to the room first because I forgot what he was doing before then. Like, he just knew, like, his person got him a room, and we went to go see the casino host. They gave him the keys and we went straight to the concert, so he never went to the room first. So after the concert, we went up to the room. He was gonna call the bellman and bring up his stuff or whatever, and we walked in the room, and it was a suite. It was a pretty nice size suite. It was on a corner. It had a nice little panoramic view, darling. And bitch, when I tell you, he had a fit. Girl, he called his casino host and cussed him the fuck out. And I was like, I'm gonna paraphrase, but he was basically like, what is this that you have me in? Like, this is not what I'm used to staying in, and you know this. And he was like, if you don't change my room right now, I will leave and I will never come back, and I will never spend another dime here at this casino or in the entire chain of casinos. I promise you. Mind you, the man that he called, because this wasn't the person who gave us the keys that night, the man that he called was off today. This was his personal phone number. He called him in his bed. Mind you, this was after the concert, so it had to be 10, 11, 12 at night. He called him about his sleep and was like, you change this now. And sure enough, gave it like about 10, 15 minutes. They put us in another suite, child. And when we went to that one, I'm talking 2 stories. Spiral staircase, child, marble floor. Like, it was regal. Like, it was so nice. And I was like, wow. But I had work in the morning, so he thought I was gonna like spend the night or whatever, and I was just like, no. And so I was like, okay, like, I can't, whatever. And he was like, okay, well, tomorrow, like, what are you doing tomorrow night? And I was like, okay, well, tomorrow night, you know, whatever. He was like, okay, well, let's go out to dinner. Like, let's go out and have like a nice meal tomorrow, all this other stuff, whatever. And so I was like, okay, like, you know, sounds good. And then, girl, he gave me, so remember those monies that I told you he was winning at the thing? Girl, he gave me a little coin. And I was like, oh. He was like, yeah, I know, like, you know, that Barry Manilow concert wasn't really your vibe. It wasn't your tea, wasn't your gig. But I appreciate you for like coming with me, you know. Here you go. And I was just like, okay. And bitch, I got the fuck before he decided to change his mind. And so, like, you know, we were texting the next day and everything, and then that second night came. And so the next night, you know, whatever, he came, he was like, oh, you know, meet me at the room or whatever. So this is the gag, girl. So, child, I got to the room, and you know, at this time, again, like I said, like, I was just like, I didn't want people to think that I was like, you know, using this man or whatever, which, I mean, to a certain extent, I wasn't like attracted to him, like, oh, this is my boyfriend, like, I love him. Like, it wasn't nothing like that. It was just like, oh, he's you know, he's nice. Like, I'll just entertain it, you know, and he gave me money. So I was like, okay, I guess I could see him again. Like, I don't really mind. Like, I ain't got nothing better to do. He was like, you know, meet me at the room, whatever. Girl, tell me why. So I get to the room or whatever. Oh, he gave me a room key the night before. So the second night, I texted him. I was like, you know, I'm on my way up to the room, whatever, to the suites. Excuse me. I'm on my way up to the suites, honey. Going up to the penthouse, darling. And so I walk in. So he was there. Well, actually, I walk in. He was not there. But his nephew was there. His nephew's girlfriend. His nephew's baby. His sister. The family, bitch, was in this suite. And I just walked in looking like, hey, how y'all doing? Like, but they knew about me. Like, he had told them about me, so they like were expecting me type shit. And I was like, oh, where's Ricardo? And they were like, oh, he's like, you know, getting ready, whatever. And I was like, okay. And so they were like, oh, you must be Tyler, whatever. And I was like, yeah. And so they weren't really acting like weird, but the thing was, his nephew and I were the same age. And so it was just like a weird thing of like, why are you dating my uncle? And my uncle's like, oh, like I can tell he was like looking at me some type of way. Like he was just like, oh, like I know, like you're just using him for money type shit. And it just was like really awkward. And so Ricardo got done or whatever, and I was like, oh, I didn't know your family was gonna be here. He was like, oh yeah, we were all going to dinner tonight, so that's why I wanted to invite you to dinner. And I was like, well, you didn't say that because you made it seem like it was just me and you, but this is a family. I've met your family now. Like this is a thing. Like what's going on? So anyways, we went to this steakhouse in the casino, or in that hotel. That was my first time, and I don't want to listen. This was my first experience ever going to like a fine dining restaurant. But like when I say fine, and I'm about to sound so fucking poor, but bitch, when I tell you we were in that restaurant, that was my first time having a meal with courses. I've never experienced that. That was my first time going to a restaurant where everything was a la carte. I'm used to ordering like a meal and then get some sides. No, honey, this was a la carte and it was gourmet, chow. Also, in this restaurant, literally, like our table had what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there were 6 of us at the table. There were at least like 2, I don't even want to call them waiters, but waiters on both sides of our table who stood there the entire meal. And when I would take a sip of my drink my water down, as soon as I put the cup down, there they came with water and refilled it as we sipped. I was like, this is fancy boots. Like I was like, oh my god, like I don't even want to imagine how much this is gonna cost, like this meal's gonna cost. But girl, we had the works. We had all the steaks, all the filet mignons, girl. So we had the dinner or whatever, did the things, and then his family was like, you know, getting up to go home because they had kids or whatever. It was getting late, so they were gonna put the kids in bed, whatever. So it was very much nice meeting you, whatever. And this was his last night here, so it wasn't like a come spend the night with me, because he was leaving that night. And so this is, oh my god, okay, so this is the gag. This is where y'all really gonna judge me. So he had this nice, beautiful rooftop penthouse thing where you go out to the balcony, girl, and it was a whole little, they had couches out there and pool table, everything on the roof. But anyways, we go back to the room or whatever, and we're just like kind of like laid on the couch. Like he's laying on the couch like with his feet up, and I'm kind of like sitting in front of him. And we were just talking, and he was like, you know, saying like, you know, thank you for coming to dinner, all this other stuff. And I was just like, that is a big watch that you have on your hand. Like that is a huge watch. Like my wrists are so small, like that would probably take up my whole wrist. And he was like, you like it? And I was like, I mean, it's okay, it's just a little big for me. He's like, try it on. And so I was just like, okay. So like I tried it on. Girl, that watch was massive. And so I was like, yeah, this kind of big or whatever. I was like, but it's cute though, you know. And so like I go to take off. He's like, no, you can have it, like that's yours. And I was like, huh? What? Like, what? And he was just like, it's okay, like I have so many of them, like you can have that one, I don't care, like you like it, keep it. And I was like, okay. So let me get into the gag, girl. So anyways, he was like, okay, well, I leave tonight, whatever, whoop-de-whoop. The limo should be here to take me to the airport any minute now. You know, my flight's it's about time for me to catch my flight, whatever. I walked him down to like the valet or whatever, and my intention was like, you know, okay, nice seeing you, you know, text me when you make it home type shit, whatever. And he was like, well, do you want to like just ride with me to the airport? And I'm like, okay, but how am I gonna get back? And he was just like, no, I'll just tell the limo driver to like drop you back. And I was just like, okay, you can do it. Like, I didn't know how that stuff works. So I was just like, okay. So I got in this stretch limo, nice as fuck. We were just sitting in the back of this stretch limousine. I felt like the limo driver was judging me. It was a black dude, but I just like, he was looking at the two of us and we were like holding hands and stuff, getting in the limo. And so I was just like, I know he's judging me. Like, I know he's probably like, he thinks I'm a prostitute. Which, mind you, no sugar was giving to sugar daddy. Like, we went to dinner, we went back to the room. What, did I do that? What is this? So yeah, we dropped him off at the airport, and then he told the limo driver, hey, can you take him back to the hotel? And the limo driver was like, yeah, okay. So I just was in the back of the limo by myself, like, kicking it. Oh, and this is the thing. He was just like, well, they have the room booked for me, you know, checking out tomorrow. I leave tonight, so you have a key. If you want to stay the night at the hotel, you can. Or if you want to, like, invite friends over or something, like, the room is yours. Like, I trust you. I know you're not going to, like, trash it or anything like that. And even if you did, like, bitch, I'm good for it, okay, you know. So he was like, you know, you can go back to the room, stay there, whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So this is the gag, and this is where you're gonna judge me, and this is why I waited purposely to save this for the end. So I was dating someone at the time. And so I basically texted him, and I was just like, hey, like, I have a hotel room, like, come spend the night with me at, you know, X, Y, and Z hotel. And then he was just like, okay, like, that's random. And I was like, yeah, well, I have, like, my rich uncle was in town, and he basically had the room, but he left already. Like, he had to catch his flight, a late night flight. So he said, like, I could invite friends over. So, like, you know, come over. Like, you know, come, let's spend the night. And he was like, oh, dope. Like, that's cool. Like, you never told me that you had a rich uncle, da-da-da. And I was just like, well, you know, you never asked, whatever. And so, like, he came, and when he got in the room, he was just like, what uncle is this again? Like, what does he do? Like, how does he afford? I was like, I know, like, trust me, I'm just as shocked as you, but let's not even think about that. Let's just enjoy the night together. So we did. We enjoyed that penthouse. Like, we were in there. Oh my God, the giant bed and the showers. It had, like, two like steam showers, but like it all had like neon lights in it, so we turned like all the lights off and like took a nice steamy shower with all the lights changing colors, and it played like music in the shower and stuff, and then we just got to go to sleep in this big luxurious bed. Oh, I am trash. I was so trash, trifling. So we enjoyed that night. It was like amazing. And then yeah, we checked out of the hotel the next morning, whatever, what have you. So that was my interaction in person with like my sugar daddy or whatever, for the sugar daddy. Oh, and he also gave me more money before he left too. So there's that in terms of sugar daddying. What happened with that and leading up to today? After that, he was like, you know, getting really busy with work, and this was kind of his last time coming to Vegas for, you know, the next few months, because he was really gonna have to like buckle down with work, and his company was about to start taking on some big clients and all this other big accounts or whatever. So he's basically saying like, you know, I'm gonna be really busy with work, so I won't really be coming out there as frequently for the next few months or whatever. And I was like, you know, fine with me, because we weren't in a relationship. I didn't want to have to go and see him all the time. I just thought it was cute, like, you know, he'd come around every once in a while. I'll go meet up with him, go to a show, go to dinner, whatever, and then he gave me money and that's it. So I was like, okay, that's cute for me. Like, fine, you do you, I'ma do me, you know, you got my number, call me when you come back type shit. So that's how I was thinking of it. So what happened was, like, over the time, you know, I was just living my life in school, whatever. We would text every now and then, but then he would get mad and he was like, you know, you don't call me anymore, and you don't like check on me, and like you're not being like a good like boyfriend. And I was like, boyfriend? Like, I didn't want to be your boyfriend. Like, that we're not in a relationship. Like, I'm only 18, 19 years old. You live in a whole nother state as me. I'm in school and all this other stuff, you know. And he was just saying, like, you know, like, I need you to be more attentive. Like, if this is gonna work, you need to call me at least, like, you know, so many times per week, or I need to hear from you every day. And I remember one time I was like going to the gym, and at the time I used to go to the gym late at night, like around like 10, 11 at night. And so I told him like, oh, I was going to the gym or whatever, and he blew up on me the next day because he was like, you didn't tell me that when you came home from the gym, like, I was worried. You should have checked in with me and you should have let me know you made it home. And I was just like, dude, like, chill, like, you're doing way too much. And he was like, this isn't gonna work if you can't communicate and all this other stuff. And I was like, okay, well then so be it. Like, that's not what I signed up for, sweetheart. Like, I don't care how much money you have, but you aren't gonna treat me like you own me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that's what you thought this was. You give me money and I follow your orders, obey your wishes, sweetheart. But that's not how this is gonna work. I'm still gonna very much do me, and if you have a problem with it, then you can step. Like, I'm cool. And so basically that was kind of the end of that. And like, yeah, that was kind of the end of that. So yeah, that was my first experience with like a sugar daddy. I don't even got too much to say about it. Those of you who got sugar daddies and everything like that, girl, do your thing. The way I look at it is this person wants to do this for people, because I know like a lot of people are like, oh, that's messed up, you're taking advantage of this man, or you know, that's so shameful, like, why don't you should work for what you got. Like, I was working two jobs at the time, sweetheart, full-time student in school, and this man I never asked for anything. He wanted to do those things for me. He wanted to give me that watch. He wanted to give me money. He wanted to take me out to dinner. He wanted to do that. So if he wants to do it, why do you think that you should deny somebody something that they want to do if it ain't doing nothing but helping the both of us? If you want to help me, I'm gonna let you help me. The way I look at it. And if it wasn't me, then it was gonna be somebody else. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Comment down below if you have any questions about the matter, if you need a part 2 or anything like that, or if you just want to let me know what you'd like to see here on this channel. Leave it down in the comments, and more importantly, make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you don't miss out on any more of this TylorWithAnO goodness. And I will catch you all on my next video. Peace! Oh Lord, here go my peeping Tom ass neighbor on the balcony. I'm looking him dead in his mouth. Because listen, if he wants to be the next sugar daddy, if you want to pay this rent over here across the way, you know what it's giving. We live in the same neighborhood. You know how much these bills are. Send me a check, sweetie.